series. And we were on the final night last night on Halloween. So I really appreciate that. We got some more subscribers last night, and I am just so happy that everybody joined us. Okay, and yeah, I'm so excited. And thank y'all for being in the chat. I saw y'all in there. Okay, and people that are in here right now, y'all were in there last night. I really appreciated that. We're not usually on the air on Tuesdays, on Tuesday night, so I appreciate y'all being there. Okay, also, I have a guest here today. One of my peeps. I have Long Island Bigfoot Mike in the chat, or not in the chat. He's in the chat. I'm watching him in the chat. He's in the studio too, you guys. And so we're actually gonna be talking today about his Dogman encounters. Okay, we're gonna bleed that Dogman show over into today, so to speak. And so I have Mike from Long Island Bigfoot here in the studio today. Now, if you guys would like to follow along with all of my shows and everything I have going on, you guys go to my website. That's the cryptidhuntress.com. And all of my shows, everything that I'm doing over at Spaced Out Radio. Y'all know I'm a weekend host at Spaced Out Radio. I have a show there called Off the Trails. It airs every Saturday and Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be there this Saturday night. I may be going researching this weekend. So we'll see. I'll keep y'all posted on that. Also, I do have a Patreon. If anybody would like to support what I'm doing, I want to give a huge thank you to all of my Patreon members. I do have that Patreon where it really correlates with my remote viewing show that I do every Thursday night. But hey, listen, my VIP members, you guys, I've got some really cool keychains. Okay, wait, I've got blue ones and I've got brown ones. These are going out to my Patreon members this month. Okay, so if you would like one, I'm going to be doing giveaways all month. Okay, and I'm going to be giving away keychains and stickers and whatever else I can get my hands on to all of my viewers out there. Okay, so but my VIP Patreon members are getting keychains this month. Okay, so y'all send me your addresses if I don't already have them. All right, it's cold today. Okay, Georgia just got cold. Okay, it just got cold just last night, of course. So I'm rocking the hoodie. I believe my guest today is rocking a hoodie. We're twinning. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and pull up my friend Mike from Long Island Bigfoot on YouTube. Mike is an Army vet and a Bigfoot field researcher, boots on the ground. Okay, or hooves on the ground, whatever he's feeling like that day. Okay, so please help me welcome to my show my buddy Long Island Bigfoot Mike.
How's it going?
Hey Mike.
I am wearing a hoodie. I wanted to keep the theme and give Vic a shout out because he he did the 5 nights of Dogman, which I thought was awesome. Because he branched out and helped other people and and put other people on the map, which was great. But he sent me 3 hoodies, which I thought was amazing. He's just a great guy. This is one of them, and that's what I'm wearing today. It's all fun and games till Dogman stands up.
That's nice. That's super nice. Really Vic's cool. A great guy. Yeah, I would say he's my go-to man in the Dogman online community for stories about Dogman. I go to Dogman encounters, and I suggest everybody else does too.
I walked around like stuck on stupid pretty much, like with my whole trauma, I guess, right? And he really helped me get through it. He really did. He really helped me get through it. And I work my way around the Bigfoot world so many times, so many different ways, but when it comes to that, like I had people like reach out to me and try to help me and stuff, but it was really starting to I was really working through it and figuring things out with Vic, and I don't forget stuff like that, so I appreciate him for that too. But.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's almost like we have a group. It's like group therapy too, when we're able to talk about these experiences that we have on our shows, and the people that are in the chats and watching. It's really a good way to kind of heal that trauma of a lot of stuff that we encounter out there, including we got Cryptid in the chat today. Cryptid, you did a great job on the show last night. So thank you for sharing your stories with us. This is Mark Maychek that was on the show last night. And yeah, it was amazing. He had a couple of very pretty intense Dogman encounters in Kentucky near the LBL, Mike. So, and I know you were in the chat last night.
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
there with us.
Yeah, the
But yeah,
LBL seems to be like one of those places that, people can go, and it's kind of like it just seems to never be like people always hit and they never miss when they go there. And
yeah,
I don't know if it's always so good, but you know, it seems
yeah.
active.
Yeah. Yeah, well, of the 5 nights of Dogman encounters, I know at least 1 or 2 other shows did focus on the LBL, the Land Between the Lakes.
Mhm.
And so I thought that was interesting because there's so much activity there. And I think that's where we hear about the most graphic stories of a Dogman attack,
Yeah,
it's the graphic stuff that we hear the most about. It's not like the normal everyday, you know, um,
right.
nonviolent encounters like you've had, right?
Yeah. Some a little bit of both.
Nonviolent? I guess that's how we could
Yeah,
put it.
they aren't violent. There are some category. People would categorize some of the stuff I've been through as like being attacked, but I
Mhm.
wasn't harmed. And so I try to categorize things fittingly. Not in that moment, and that's why I wanted to like. That's why I really wanted to work through it and kind of like get a real good perspective on it, or like a real good look from the outside, not like a look from an emotional standpoint or from like a you know
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you actually shared your story on Dogman Encounters with Vec, and I've only talked to you about your Bigfoot encounters. Okay,
yeah.
so I thought I would really like to talk to you today about your encounters you've had with dogmen, because first of all, people are always like, "There's no Bigfoots in Long Island. There's no way." But I got to tell everybody that's watching, I've been to Long Island. Okay, I spent a week up there with Mike actually, and a bunch of people, and we had Bigfoot encounters out there while I was there. Okay, and it's full of woods. It's full of woods, especially around the
Yeah,
Montauk area where we were.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's totally possible, y'all.
It's very misunderstood, but that's just the nature of the beast, right? Like, there's so many places in the world where you think of it, and like it makes you just think of something, right? So when you hear New York, like people automatically think the city. So like obviously upstate is a different story. If you're talking about mountains and stuff, but as far as here, people just think it's the city. But it is very populated. Don't get me wrong, but as you see when we go into the woods, there's nobody out there. Like it's just like everybody's in the
Deer.
towns and like doing things like that, and like it's nobody's on the hiking trails and stuff like that. So uh there's a few popular spots that like draw people in, but whatever. Other than that, I pretty much have the woods to myself, which I like.
Yeah. I mean, the place is ripe with vegetation and wildlife out there, perfect for Bigfoots, perfect for dogmen. I mean, you could not turn a corner without running into a herd of deer when we were out
Right,
there.
right. They're everywhere, and there's no predators. So like, there's no the white-tailed deer is the biggest animal here. There are no coyotes. There's no wolves. There's no bears. There's no cats. Nothing. So um, it's like cryptid playground for the most part, right? Like
Yeah, it is.
they just have free reign to do whatever they want. As long as people ain't poking around, what's the difference? So
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I've been watching your videos and you put out a lot of boots on the ground videos,
a
research.
little bit,
I mean, it's daily,
a
right?
little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So what is this asylum? Like you go to this one place. Is this where you had your encounter?
Yeah, yeah, one of them, yeah.
Okay. Tell
So
me
that
about it.
one, that I wouldn't call that one an encounter, maybe, right? But I so it's called. If you guys want to look it up, I've already given away that location, but it's called Kings Park Psychiatric Center. They
Oof.
turned it they turned it
Okay.
into a public area now where you're allowed in during the day, but not at night. Um, and you can't go in the buildings and stuff, but on the grounds you're allowed in there now. Now, this is a place as kids we used to go. Still to this day, people do it. It's a paranormal investigation hotspot, and as teens we used to go
Okay.
there and like dare each other to go in, and like who would go in the furthest, and like who could stay out, like just, kind of like testing your gall between each other. And get chased around by the grounds police and all that stuff. And looking back, I started to say, like, I wonder how much of that was cryptid related, because it just wasn't on my radar. So I went back, and
Oh.
there was this one building, and I had come down through this area, and then made my way through it and came back up the other side. And some of the buildings are really, really big, really, really big, because it housed so many people. And the sister area, Pilgrim State, is close by, but that's still open, some of it, but this one's completely closed down. And when I came out of the woods, I was looking at this building and just filming it, and I seen something in the tree line down by where I just was. And I was pretty sure I knew it was something, but I kind of was doing that whole, like, I'm going to play dumb and hope it doesn't know that I know. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah. It doesn't have
you
mind
know what I
speak
mean?
or telepathy. Yeah.
Well, if that's the thing, right? So
Act
I
normal.
was,
Right.
yeah, I wasn't 100. So I was like, let me just kind of like not make a big deal out of it and start pointing and all that stuff yet. So literally, like, somehow I managed to kind of like not forget, but like get myself a little distracted by other things, because I was like videoing. But as I turn back, you can see this thing clearly on the footage. It's big, and there's a big drop down too, so it's not even standing on the top level. So but you could see it move down, like as I start to turn and face it, you could see it start to gradually like back down, back into the down the hill into the drop off area. And
Oh,
again,
wow.
I didn't catch that in person, but I was still kind of like, I knew it was there and I was looking at it, but I didn't catch all that in person. But
You were by
again, I was
yourself?
trying to, yeah, that
You're
time I
alone.
was, yeah, yeah,
Oh my, it's so
I,
dangerous being by
yeah.
yourself. But that's how you roll though, and I understand.
It's hard to bring people, when you see as much as I see. It's hard to want to bring people out there and put them at risk.
Right.
You know what I mean? It really is.
Well,
Like, you have to outweigh who you take with you, because it's dangerous, and like you're bringing somebody out, and like you feel responsible for their life. You know what I mean? And
yes.
you have to make sure they're not going to make certain little like mistakes or like do disrespectful things, or you know what I mean. And if it's somebody with like a heavy foot that's going to like stomp and crash through and
Right.
machete trees down and stuff, like that ain't my style. I tippy toe through the tulips, like, because I'm trying to be respect. Yeah, I know, whatever choice of words, but I try to be
That
respectful
sounds
is
like
what
a
I'm getting
t-shirt idea for you. Okay.
at.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, if you were to take people with you, you probably wouldn't have as much action, I would assume. I mean, I don't
That
know though, because I think
sometimes.
that from being around you and being in the field with you, I feel like you do let off an energy about you that's very magnetic to the cryptids out there.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it depends. That's what I'm saying too, though. Like, I know certain people. I know if I bring them out, then nothing's gonna change. Like, it'll still be pretty active. So I got a guy, Rob, that comes out. Brian from Montauk is Strange comes out. Anthony's been out with me from Unidentified as Full. A couple of people have been out with me, and like they've had experiences of their own, like on the first try, and like it's like I don't try. I try to put it out there like, well, it's probably gonna happen, but I can't. I don't know. I don't know to what degree. It's not a matter of if they're there. It's a matter of what are they gonna show and what are they gonna do.
Right, and they usually show up. They show up and show out, as I like to say, when you're there.
Show off, yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
they do.
Right. They don't seem
They
to
do.
disappoint for sure.
Okay, so you've had Sasquatch encounters. I mean, I have seen your pictures. I have been with you when we had Sasquatch surrounding us out at Montauk at Camp Hero.
Uh-huh.
Um, how did you differentiate between a Dogman encounter and the Sasquatch encounter? How could you tell that it was a Dogman in opposition to like it being a Sasquatch?
I couldn't for a long time, to be honest with you. I didn't know any
Mhm.
better. I really didn't know any better until I literally seen, like, one time I was in the Pine Barrens and I seen these things on all fours tactically moving like a military unit, like bounding and distracting and, like, you know what I mean? They were moving as they were moving separately, but they were working as one. And then when I seen that day, I seen the Sasquatch show up on two legs, and like I got this inkling, like, get the hell out of here. Like, almost like I'm gonna hold them all, like I wasn't registering the level of danger, I don't think. You know what I mean? I was more like trying to process what the hell I was looking at. That
Yeah.
was the day I think that, like, it became really real for me, and I had people telling me all the time, like, there's this out there, there's that out there, there's reptilians, there's this, there's that. And I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I seen a Bigfoot. I know, I knew what I was doing, right? No, I didn't know. I didn't know
These
anything.
guys,
But
right?
yeah, I didn't know anything. Fangers, chicken
Wow.
fangers. So,
Okay,
but yeah,
to my
you've been out
audience
there
today, y'all. Okay, Mike and I did we got to hang out quite a bit in New York, and we realized we have a language barrier. Okay,
a little bit.
and so if you're wondering if we're going to be laughing at I was talking about chicken fingers, and he couldn't understand what I was
Tater
talking about.
tater logs was the one
And
that
so
when you said tater logs, the
tater
record
logs,
skipped. It was like what?
tater logs.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It's really funny. Yeah, we have fun. We had a lot of fun. Even though Mike,
Got to.
you just sat there and smiled and nodded your head at me and didn't know what I was saying. So, yeah. You, at least
Smile
you
and
were
nod.
nice about it.
Yeah, smile
Right.
and nod.
Exactly. Yes. What kind do you think that cryptids have accents? This is a commercial break. What do you think cryptids would have an accent, like they're regional? What do you think? Because I've heard Bigfoots
Man,
talk before.
I guess if they
That's a
wanted,
question for R. Scott Nelson. I'm just
yeah, that's a
kidding.
good
I
question.
don't know.
If they if they wanted to if they wanted to get through to somebody, I guess I don't know the answer to that, but
Depends on
I
if they're
I
in the
guess
South. Them skunk apes got those southern draws. Oh, man. I mean, I can only imagine, like, in my head I'm sorry, y'all, this is funny because you gotta
no,
think,
it's
like, are the Long Island Bigfoots up there, like, do they have an accent like yours? And do the
a
skunk
good
apes have accents
question.
like me? I mean, it's something we'll probably never know. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah.
Yeah. But us humans do. So oh, man. Okay, let's get back on topic here. Okay, so tell me so you're explaining how you didn't really know the difference if it was you just thought everything was a Sasquatch, right?
Pretty
Because when we're
much.
out there looking for a Sasquatch, pretty much everything is gonna be a Sasquatch, okay? If we're looking for
Mhm,
UFOs, everything in the sky is gonna be a UFO. So,
mhm.
but see, you have an open mind, Mike, and I know you have a very open mind about things, and so you're willing to look at other avenues as to what these things could be. Um, so is that kind of how you figured out it could have been a dogman, or had you had dogman reports in that area?
Mm, it hadn't been on my radar really, and then now I do. Even like after I did the show with Vic, I got a few Dogman reports, and it was like people didn't know who I was, but they met me. They knew who Vic was, and then they heard me, so they started talking to me about stuff. And a lot of them don't want to be public. One was like a nurse, and it was like 3 a.m. and she was in the area I go down in Stony Brook. She was literally down there by the hospital at her house, and under the street light. She said she looked out the window and was like, "Why? Like, what the hell is that? A cow?" She thought it was a cow, and she's like, then she like shook that off and was like, "Why would a cow be in the middle of the street at 3 a.m.?" And then it stood up, and like that's kind of ironic with the shirt, but she said it stood up and it was about 10 foot tall. She was able to judge because of the streetlight height. She went and found out whatever. Long story short, she said it stood up. It was about 10 foot tall, and it just walked off. And that was about as far as that went. And they don't. They just kind of wanted to tell somebody, I guess, and it trickled down to me, and that was it. But yeah, sometimes it's more in depth, sometimes it's not. But they're on my radar now, and so is really everything, between elementals and all sorts of stuff, right? And you have to kind of, even sometimes in the moment, I'm like, oh, that's what that is, but then you kind of really have to like assess it later, because there's so many things that we don't know about, so many things that could be so closely related. It's almost as if like the fantasies and like sci-fi world and all these things are actually real, right? And then if you go into different regions, there's like these different variations in certain things, even in native legend, right? Like they have documented things, but it's always a little different. And like it's like, well, what if, like for instance, the Thunderbird, right? So like the Thunderbird might mean something here, to a tribe that means something different to a tribe in Arizona, right? But maybe it just is the same thing, or it was just doing different things to benefit them or benefit their area, right? Like they say their wings carried the rains on their back and would bring the rain in for the crops, and because there would be no rain, so they would see the Thunderbird and they knew it would rain because it would carry it in on the wings of its. And it was like, yes, like they would get excited because they needed their crops to grow. And so there's so much to look at, really. There's so much to look at. So to put anything in a box to me is ignorance, so I always stay open. I wake up every day and treat every day like a blank slate. Like, I don't know nothing about nothing. What do you got for me today, universe? And that's it.
Exactly. I'm the same way. And now Cryptiville has a friend from up in Long Island who's a field researcher, and
Oh,
and
cool.
you might know him. His name is Luke Raimondo.
I don't know
I
him,
hope I
but
said his name right. Okay, well, you need to be on the lookout for that guy, okay? Because
yeah,
if
yeah,
he's friends with
sure.
Cryptiville, he's good people, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
You can put him in contact with me too. That's cool. I mean, I'm always happy to link up with people. The more the
absolutely.
merrier.
Maybe y'all could go Bigfooting together.
Why
Yeah,
not?
okay. So you guys have something very anomalous up there in Long Island, and that's where you and I went with our group with Montauk is Strange Brian and
Mm,
um Mike was with us, Michael Roser from Dark
yep.
Hour Paranormal, and we had all the super soldier guys here and
Yeah.
Montauk survivors. We went to Montauk to Camp Hero. And there's a little island out there where they were allegedly doing like experiments on animals and stuff like that. And
Oh
something called
yeah.
the Montauk Monster washed up on shore there in Montauk,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
weird animals out there.
That's Plum Island. Yeah. That's
Hmm.
actually where ticks come from. The ticks, they come
Really?
from Plum Island. Yeah, they come from Plum Island. It was some people say they're a bioweapon, some people say they just, got out and they're here. But yeah, you can thank Plum Island for ticks. Yeah. That's why they're so bad here on Long Island. That's why they
Well, there were signs everywhere that said "Watch for ticks" when we were out there on their hiking trails. It said there
yeah.
were like warning signs for ticks.
Well,
I
there's
thought
like
it was because there was
yeah,
Lyme disease going around or something.
yeah. They're Lyme's it is going around, I guess, really. I mean, it is prevalent.
Yeah.
Especially on Fire Island, which is a chain island that's like below the South Shore. The deer there, for the longest time, had crazy Lyme disease. They were, it, you want to talk about like scary looking deer? Like they were in bad shape, bad shape. I seen a deer once too that had a thing called blue tongue, which I didn't know what that was, right? But this deer had its tongue
Oh
was
yeah.
hanging I didn't even know how big deer's tongues were, but its mouth was open. It had some disease. I forget what the real scientific term is, but it's like blue tongue, and it's like
Okay.
hanging out the side of its mouth, like dangling. And I seen it down by the water on the bluffs, and I was like, "Ooh, like this deer don't look like a deer," but I'm like, let me see if there's any science behind it before I jump the gun. So and sure, as anything, that's where they'll go. They'll go down towards the salt water because for whatever reason it helps them, with that disease to be near the salt.
Helps them heal. Yeah. Helps them
Yeah,
get better. I'm sorry, I got somebody blowing leaves right outside my window right now. Of
we
course.
can't
Of
we,
course.
we can't hear it if it
You
makes
can't
you
hear
feel
it?
better.
Okay, good. Good. Because I
It's
can hear it and it's
very
loud.
faint.
I'm
It's
gonna
very
go have a
faint.
talk with that person after this show is over today. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so wow. Okay, but there's all sorts of these like weird, potentially weird, scientifically lab made, lab grown
Yeah,
animals up there too,
yeah.
and so what do you think about these? Could these dogmen, could it be werewolves, dogmen, whatever this is that you encountered up there? Do you think this could be like natural to the land, or do you think could be some kind of like super soldier program or something going on underground that those things are associated with?
Maybe both, right? I don't know. If it, who knows the intelligence of them? Maybe they're just maybe it's beneficial for them to work with our government and they do it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I'm just a puppet, right? Like trying to figure out where I fit in, but it's
Right, me too.
but there's so many things out here that I'm starting to uncover that I'm a little sketched out to say publicly, but it's not just the ones we know about, right? The ones that have been figured out that they're doing experiments in. There's other places too, and there's quite a few in this on this island. Between the ones that are well known as Brookhaven Labs, formerly Fort Upton. They have like atomizer separator there and all sorts of stuff. But like a lot of underground, they got guards with machine guns there, and like it's just out of control. Now we've had I know one of the local paranormal teams. Oh, maybe it was the Long Island UFO researchers or whatever. They went there and tried to do some stuff. That guy's got locked up. Like he got locked up. This guy for like forever. I don't know I don't remember what he did, but pretty sure he just went poking around a little too much. Um,
Uh-oh. We got to be careful about poking around in places we're not supposed to be, like trespassing on places
yeah,
like Montauk and Camp Hero and things. I mean, I think
yeah,
some people in our group might have gotten busted while we were up there, but it was a slap on
yeah,
the wrist,
yeah. It was.
right?
Yeah, we got lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got very lucky. Like yeah, that could have been a little bit of bail money if they wanted it to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have made for an interesting story coming back here. But yes, I'm not saying we needed to think like have criminal minds when we were out there. There's some of these
Yeah.
places are off limits, and they're off limits for a reason. They're very, very dangerous, and
Well,
also you don't know. I mean, I hear that if there's some places that you can cross the line and they'll take you and they'll make you into an experiment underground. Okay,
you
so
know, there's a lot of things too, just in general about off trail. Like if you notice, there's a pamphlet right next to like the map that says unexploded ordnance, like which is
oh yeah,
mines and explosives and stuff. So they don't want you to go off trail. Now, if that's such BS, if there's a possibility of explosives and mines in that park, they would not let people in there walking around. So like to me that says they don't want people poking around for a different reason. And obviously, Brian and many others have found. I went out before I knew Brian. I went out after right before Stranger Things came out or whatever. I had heard about its release and I was like, all right, let me go check this place out. And I want to see what it is. And I had been going to Montauk my whole life and going. You see where Camp Hero entrance is and the lighthouse.
uh-huh.
I had been to that lighthouse hundreds of times, like probably not hundreds, probably like 20 times, and I'd never noticed that Camp Hero was there. Tater logs.
Tater tots. I know. I'm super behind on the chat. I'm like 20 minutes behind.
Yeah, we always
Yes, that's a big area, Camp Hero actually. And you have pictures that we've shown on my shows before of what you believe could be Junior or a Sasquatch there on that property and we got Bubba too. Now is Bubba's house over there at Montauk as well?
no, he's really far west of there.
Okay.
Probably about 50 miles west, but maybe more. I don't know the exacts, but yeah, that's not my picture of Junior. Well, I have my own, but that one of him on the bunker, or those few of them, they're really hard to
Mm-hmm.
find. Like they're one of those things
Yeah.
that just gets buried. You know what I mean? Like you have to. When we were just talking about this, I had Susie on and Elaine on, and after we went backstage, we were talking about different things and dragons, and we were like, "Oh, that dragon video! Remember that dragon video in like China? It was going in front of the mountains, so it was
Oh
gone.
yeah.
It's off. It's gone. Like we
Scrubbed.
sat backstage and searched.
Yeah.
It's gone. Yeah. So like that tells me there's something legit involved there. You know, when they make it disappear, there's usually something involved. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'd rather a video disappear than the people. Okay, so
well, you're right, right. But I
yeah.
mean, like, it's interesting to me that like a picture of a Bigfoot in Montauk that's been there for, I mean, decades before I started this, and it's I never knew it existed. I had no idea. I found out about Junior from Montauk is Strange and from Dark Hour Paranormal. I didn't know anything about him.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Well, there's a lot up there. And yeah, so when you said the psychiatric hospital, okay,
Mhm.
I've been making the connection to Dogman being seen in around cemeteries. Okay. And Mark and I even
Mhm.
talked about that last night a little bit.
Yeah.
He was talking about the immense number of cemeteries at the Land Between the Lakes recreation area. He said like hundreds. Okay. If I remember
Yeah.
correctly, there's like 200 and something or more.
Wow. Wow.
And that's a lot. And there's that connection between the cemeteries and the Indian burial mounds as well, them being there. And then that
Mhm.
connection with like Anubis and
Yeah.
dog-headed
Yeah.
men and the afterlife. Okay. So psychiatric hospitals. All right. That's a place of intense energy. Okay.
Sure.
And I know that I don't feel comfortable going to on a ghost hunt at a psychiatric hospital personally, but I have friends that do it. And just like Eric Vanderlaan with War Party Paranormal, he was on my show last weekend at Spaced Out Radio, weekend before last,
Yeah.
and they go up to like Waverly Hills Sanatorium and do investigations. Now, places like that, they don't not only have ghost activity, they have cryptid activity on the
Mhm.
premises up there.
Yeah.
He also was talking about having cryptid activity on one of the places that they go and research down in South Florida,
Mhm.
in the Everglades or wherever the woods around this mansion. So they're connected somehow. Do you think it could be like a portal or just the energy, like a ley line? I mean, what's going on at these places?
Well, you know, the psych you spoke about like deaths in Anubis, and like the psych center would have is well, many, many, many deaths and tragic things there. So there is a lot of negative energy floating around, and I kind of envy the people who can go in these places and not feel you know, I don't have like any psychic or medium abilities or anything like that. I'm more of like an
Sure you
empathic,
do.
like,
Yeah, you
well, I'm
do.
more on like a uh, the empathic level is kind of what I notice, I guess.
Mhm.
So, you know, I can kind of go into these places that might affect somebody like that, right? And like, or like yourself, right? You're more intuitive than most, right? So let's just call a spade a spade. Like it's hard for you, you know.
It is.
It's more harder for you. Um, I can walk through a cemetery and walk out of a cemetery and not feel, you know, not notice a thing. But that's not the case for everybody, right? So um, I feel like I'm just one of those people that see, you know, is vibrating with those cryptids. And while I do it on purpose at some points, I'm trying not to. You know, I'm just trying to be regular. And like I'm like, man, like there's something going on here.
Act
Even
normal.
still, I'm like, yeah, it's almost like it's like knocking at your door. You know, no matter where you are. It's not really something I'm able to ignore anymore. You know,
Yeah. Thank you,
I
Jane.
don't,
Sweet.
I wouldn't give it up. I wouldn't give it back or anything, but I do envy people who are able to kind of like just pick it up and put it down, pick it up and put it down, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know for a fact you are very intuitive, okay, and, I met you in person. I saw you in action. Now you and I were doing some, field research out with James Rink. We were up on, Council Rock,
Oh yeah.
and,
Yeah. Yeah.
a very intense energy kinda took over all of us, that one night
Yeah.
that we were out there, just us 3, And that was super intense because that had an element of cryptids and the supernatural. I was feeling a presence of spirits,
Yeah.
like people all around us, but I couldn't see them, but I could feel them. And that was super intense. Do they
You
have
said at one point, I think you said
Mhm.
at one point you felt like it was
Suffocating
yeah, suffocating, yeah. Yeah.
and
And
grabbing me?
yeah. I know you say you needed to get into an open area. Which I think, you're a trooper, because I know a lot of people would have like ran from that experience, and I was like, all right, let's go. You want to get out of here? And
No.
you were like, no, like let me just kind of reset. Let me get some open space. And I was like, shit, okay, like we're gonna, all right.
We ain't never
I thought that
scared.
was bad. Yeah, no, I thought it was
Right.
badass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I've seen a lot of different reactions to a lot of different things, and that was, you know, very tough.
Because I'm inoculated. I'm inoculated. I think that's important when you're out there, and I mean that in the way of like I've seen a
Yeah,
lot, and I've been
yeah,
put through a lot out in the field on purpose. Like the head of my team, one of my main teams, ERG, he put us in some predicaments, knowing that we were going to experience some intense Bigfoot, Dogman, interdimensional activity, whatever's out there. He he
yeah,
he took us into the fray, like into the mix,
yeah,
like trial by fire. And that's where we go. We do our research in these places that are like the highest of the high strangeness.
yeah,
And yeah, we get accosted all night in our tents and stuff by cryptids out there.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm okay
Well,
with
yeah,
it. Listen,
there's a
it's
spot like that where it's just at the edge of where like the Native Americans, like I went up in the Catskills. I had to go and like meet with some of the tribes and just ask them, hey, like I understand there's a lot of things that you don't want to tell people, but where's the off limits areas? And they looked at me like, and I said the off limits areas, like in the woods, like where should I not be? And that's all I need to know. I don't need to know like how to. I don't want you to give me any secrets on how to find. Just is there anywhere I shouldn't be? So they started giving me the breakdown of the history of where they wouldn't go to hunt because of the energy, and like even if it was all the deer herd, even if the whole deer herd was in there, they wouldn't go there to hunt because it was like no. And it was similar things to like the Wendy and all that crap. I don't want to say their names, but
yeah.
stuff like that would linger, and shape shift, etc. And I didn't want to put myself in any of those, you know, drop myself in there by myself. And but there's one place I camp that's beautiful and it's very magical and it's very peaceful, but it's on the edge, right? It's like if you could, if you had an imaginary, line like on a map or whatever, like it's real close. But you can tell it's a peaceful place. It's just, but there literally just there's a creek. That's what separates it is a creek, and that waterway is
Oh,
not crossable, right? Like that's what
I
I'm
don't think
told
it
anyway,
is.
and I
That's what
believe it.
yeah, right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I was pretty impressed at the area of high strangeness that we went to, and everywhere around there was very highly strange. But there also seemed to be an element of like a deep underground facility, something going on, definitely something going on underground in that area where we were up there in
Yeah.
Montauk.
Well, that's a
Which I
fact, actually. I didn't tell you that, but
okay,
it's a fact that it's down there. Yeah.
a fact.
Under the
Okay.
so where you were getting funny feelings from that Montauk Manor,
Yes.
there's a reason. There's a reason for all
Illuminati.
that. Yeah. Well, and then
I'm
some, right? But it
convinced
comes.
it's got ties.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Yeah. At all. So like and then it comes underneath and it goes all the way to Hero and then branches out. So the asylum I was at too is kind of connected. Not the tunnels don't connect all the way. If they do, I don't know about it, but it was connected to as far as them taking kids from there. These women who were considered crazy would have babies or they would get pregnant or however it would happen, but they would have their children and they would just tell them that their children passed. And what are they going to do about it, right? Like you're in you're in an insane asylum. Who are you going to complain to? They just throw you in a padded room, stick you with something, knock you out for a few days, whatever. So that's how they were getting
Mhm.
certain kids for, the Montauk project was from
Oh
these
gosh.
from these large asylums from the women. sick.
Oh,
I know
wow.
it's sick. I won't get into detail, but it was very sick. Like some of the
Yeah.
measures these women were going to keep their babies at birth from going, or pre-birth from going into the project,
Mhm.
was really, really ugly. Like
Oh,
really
yeah.
ugly.
It was all very ugly. We have Angel in the chat. Hey, Angel. Angel was with us up at Montauk as well, and she was a survivor of the Montauk project as well. So thank you for being here, Angel. Sending you a bunch of love today. And yeah, I look forward to going back to Montauk actually, up there, even though it has very, I think it was a beautiful healing process for everybody involved on our trip. But
Yeah,
yeah, I want to go do some more cryptid studies up there with
yeah,
you guys.
yeah,
I
yeah,
want to go see
definitely.
these dogmen. Okay.
Come on. Oh yeah, anytime.
We're gonna I want to go do some dogman studies up there actually. Neil has a question, Mike. Is Coney Island a hotbed of paranormal activity?
I don't know, buddy. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I've never been there. I don't even know what it. I think it might just be like an amusement park, kind of like Jersey Shore. So as far as like paranormal, like maybe like ghostly stuff, maybe. I really don't. I don't know much about
Yeah.
it though.
Oh yeah. Oh, Angel actually is one of the people that did get busted there at the radar
Hmm.
tower. Do you remember?
Yeah, I wasn't
That
gonna
was
name names.
yeah, that was that we did have a group. Okay, full disclosure, Angel, you gave yourself away. Okay. Yeah, we did have a group. I think Mike and I knew to get out of there. We were out of Dodge, so we didn't get in any trouble. But yeah, some of us are used to ducking and dodging, y'all. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just putting it out there. Okay. Have you ever heard a dog man howl? Oh, he just there goes Mike. Mike, like I said, ducking and dodging. Okay, ducking and dodging. You're really good at that, and that's what just happened. Okay, so have you ever heard a dog man howl, Mike?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. It what happened? It's possible.
Mhm.
I mean, it's possible I've heard them, but if it was one, I didn't. It didn't really register with me. I'm not very in tune with them, and I don't necessarily want to be, right? Like, they've piqued my curiosity to the point where I kind of want to know a little bit, and if once in a while I'll kind of check it out, but with a healthy respect for what the hell I've been through, and that closely in the back of my head. Um, I'm kind of stupid, like a little crazy and a little stupid like that. Like some people might look at it like, why the hell would you go back in there and do that? Like I'm not really built the same as most, right? Like I don't know how to explain it. I'm just built different.
Yeah, you are. Well,
Might not be the
you're tough.
might not be the
You're tough.
smartest thing, but yeah, yeah. Somebody's got to do it. That's the way I look at it.
Okay. I'm always behind on comments, y'all. So 228 roughly. Those are the cemeteries at the land between
Ooh,
the lakes. Yeah, Cryptiville's up in here. 228 cemeteries. Okay, and that doesn't mean they're huge cemeteries, but probably family plots and small like family plots, basically from a long time ago, are up in there.
but that really
Now,
adds to it, because the energy from both water sources and that land between it is probably enough to make it really, wild. Um, but
mhm.
then you add that element into it too, and like, you know what I mean, right?
Yes. Yeah, well, cemeteries are scary. Hey, Bub. Oh, Bub's from the Strange Road, you guys. Y'all go over there and subscribe to his channel too, please. Hey, Bub. Good to see you here. Okay. So, yeah, the the cemetery element, when we were when I was camping, okay, one of the last times I went camping, it was just for fun. It was Labor Day weekend, and we were there the first night, and we heard a scream come out of the woods from across the way from where our camp was set up, and there was a cemetery. It came from the cemetery,
Oh,
an old cemetery. Yeah, but so far up in the mountains of North Georgia. It's an old cemetery that has gravestones that are not marked, of course, from a long, long time ago. And there's
oh,
some the oldest ones that I could make out were like from the early 1800s. But then they had a plot that someone had just been buried there over the past few months. So it was kind of a mix. Okay. But we did have a big scream, and it did sound like a Sasquatch or something. My wildlife biologist teammate was there, and it was not an owl. Okay. So we went and checked it out, and I got some interesting pictures there that night. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's where it's just an area of high energy, I guess. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
A good
When
place
you
to have a
find those,
sighting.
yeah, when you find those spots, it's like you don't, you want to go back, obviously, right? It's like,
Well, some people, we do, not
yeah,
everybody.
well, right. That's very true. Yeah. There's just so many here, and like I like a challenge too. I like to switch it up. There's places I can go and get a layup every single time, but like, I want to practice my, half court shot and like try something different. So I like to challenge myself, so to speak. Basketball analogies, but
Yeah. Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know why
Okay.
I speak in analogies so many times. I don't know why I do
Because you're a wise man. You speak in riddles and rhymes. I know. I'm just kidding. Yes. Well, you get your point across. That's the good thing. Okay. Hello from Italy, Darlo. Thank you for being here. And we have people
Nice.
from all over the world right now. We got people from England. We got JoJo in here and Andy. I had Jorgen in my chat last night, y'all. This has been awesome. I love seeing all y'all here. Thank y'all so much for being here. Yeah. So where was I going next? I had some questions for you, and I got sidetracked because I saw we have people from other countries in here today, and I just had to give a shout out. So
It's all good.
I know.
It's all good.
Okay, well let's circle back around one more time. Let's get the Dogman thing because we've got a few more minutes today, and you've only had one Dogman encounter. Tell me because I think you've had two, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, tell me about the other one because you mentioned that they looked like they were gray. Explain to me what they look
You're
like.
This thing you did, the thumbnail you did, is really accurate. I mean,
Okay, well, because I asked you what it looked like, and so
stupid
this is
accurate.
it.
Well, what I
Okay, I'm
told
gonna
you,
pull
you
this up.
made. Yeah, stupid accurate. The only difference
Okay.
is it's like shoulders and chest area, and then by like its muscles like were really defined, and like it had a little bit of like hairlessness, like closer to its chest and its like shoulders and traps and stuff. But other than that, that thing is on the money. I mean, like
Wow.
it's scary accurate, like scary accurate. That head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's what you know. Well, that's what I like to do when I'm doing a show, and I even asked Mark before our show. I wanted to put a dog. Then I didn't actually end up putting a dog man just like he had described on that thumbnail. I tried. I was trying to put like war paint down a dog's face and stuff, and it just wasn't turning out right. But with this one, I tried to get it similar to what the cryptid is described, like what you're going to be describing to the audience for
yeah.
that particular show. I try to get it kind of similar in the thumbnail.
Yeah, I don't know how you did
So
that,
I
but
got that one. I
yeah.
just did some filters. That's all.
I don't know how to do anything, so it always amazes me. But
Yeah. Well, I like to because that way it kind of helps me too because you and I are friends and we do research together and it's good to have kind of like um just just to remember exactly like what it looked like to have some kind of something to go
yeah,
back and look at.
reference point and understanding for
Yes.
sure. Yeah,
Right.
no doubt. On the other occasion is when it's a long-winded thing, but in essence, the original contact was I was so we were just talking about these like areas like Plum Island things and whatever, and I was telling you there's another spot like I found some other spots, so that's where I was. Like I've named these things a bunch of different things. These places. Most recently, I called it like Dogman and then headquarters or something like that, but or HQ.
HQ.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I was just out there and things were kind of going left and like in a nutshell, it just wasn't going great. So I was trying to get out of there. I was scared, And there was this one area I had to like cut back because there's like this long grass and stuff, and I don't go through. And there's like kind of like these mode areas that are easier to navigate, but they like zig and zag and whatever. So I normally have to like go up and cut back and go across this big open field to get where I park my truck. But I was like, I wanted to get out of there and feel safe. So I seen this, like, there's this long road that comes back there. It's a little private road, whatever. I knew nobody was going to be out there or on it. I have the whole place to myself when I go, as far as humans. But I seen the street light just glowing at the end of this like narrow trail. But these trees just like hang over, and like they're these big trees that like drape over big, but underneath, like if you were to operate on all fours, you could navigate all up and through them really easily. The deer go through there and everything, and obviously other stuff too. Whatever I did to piss these things off, I was just kind of going towards, reluctantly with all this like, stuff like really close on both sides. I was like really uncomfortable, but I was going towards the street light because that, in my mind, it made me feel safe to like get to the light and to the street. But as I got right to the end, right before I got there, it was like one bound forward and then the other bound forward too. But they got so close to me to the point where it was like, I was literally looking at this thing from 5 feet away at the max. I could have reached out and touched it, and it looked like your picture, like, just anyway, it bound out and scared the shit out of me. I bounced, I started bounding back, and like I haven't split open my knife, and like at that point, it's just one of those things I remember is I pulled out my knife and flipped it open, like, and like in hindsight, that knife would have done nothing. I mean, yeah, I could have, right in its neck, and I don't think it would have phased it. That's how like big and muscular and like just I'm a big guy, I'm not tall. I'm like only like 5'6", 5'7", whatever. But I mean, I'm like, I'm big. Like this thing dwarfed me on all levels, all levels. So they both bound out. The second one bound out a little right behind it, pretty much. And I lost my bearing kind of and ran to the street, and they bound back in. They went back into that underbrush. And as I got to the street, I now realized I was like kind of like on display. Now I'm just like lit up like a light bulb, and I have woods behind me, on this side, and then in front of me. So as I'm trying to get down the street, I can see these like I spoke about earlier, that tactical movement, like where they were like helping each other. One would move, the others would watch me. One would move, the others would watch me, and like, and they would, and I could see that from the eye shine. I was watching their eye shine. Deer don't stalk people, like,
no,
and like it was one of the most. But again, like they could have took my head off, right? They could have. There was a few opportunities where they could have just done me in, and probably even more before I even realized they were there. So I don't like to categorize it as I was attacked, but I was, put in my place.
Stalked.
Like, yeah, I was put right in my place. Like, and this is what I'm saying. Like when I say, people are like, I would have ran up to that thing. I would have did this. I would have, like, no, like you don't understand. Like you really don't understand what the hell is going on here. Like they're real life. I don't want to say monsters, right? Because I don't want to like sell a monster story, but like the things that are in books, the big bad wolf. This is it. Like it's legit. It's out there. It's running around. And you don't know it's there until it wants, to show itself.
Yeah. Okay. So these cryptids have quite a way of putting us in our place. Okay. And it's just a healthy dose of reality. Okay. And
yeah.
because I think a lot of people, when when they're going out and like, and I'm guilty too. I mean, we kind of trot out there and we have a healthy dose of respect for everything that's out there, but also we can overstep boundaries too at times. And there have been times I've never been run out of a place with a screaming alpha Bigfoot before or a Dogman, but people on my team have.
Yeah.
Okay, it's happened more than they'd like to admit, probably. You know,
Yeah.
and that can be a very scary thing. But if there's anything I've learned, which I've learned a lot from doing field research, they're very territorial. Okay, the Bigfoots, the Dogmen, whatever you got going on out there, they're all very territorial, and you cross the wrong territory, and it's like gangs out there. Okay, they're like territorial.
It is. We have trails for a reason, right? Like
Yeah,
when
true.
you get off that trail and start banging around, you're exiting like said human zone, right? Like
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You know, but as far like you're right, it is it is sketchy, it's scary, but like I try to I let it outweigh. Like you know me, I'm out there every single day. So yeah, I have a couple of like 4 or 5 things I can count on, count on one hand, like traumatic experiences that were really, really bad, like that I could put in a category by themselves compared to like, 2000 good days, right? So like they really outweigh each other. So I try to always look at
Yeah.
the other side and say like, all right, but that healthy respect you said, like you got to have it and like it's good to have and you need it, but there's also stuff we don't know about. Like we don't know everything, so once in a while you're going to screw up. Like it's trial and error.
Oh yeah. Or I mean, or some of us screw up all the time. Okay, and but at least we have enough sense to admit it. That's okay. Um, totally. Smooth Criminal Triple OG. I love that name. Thank you so much for that super sticker. Have I ever tried to investigate barefoot? Barefoot?
I I do.
Barfoot? Barefoot? I don't. I like to be barefoot. Okay.
Mhm.
Do you mean like while I'm barefoot? Is that what you mean? I don't know.
Oh, like
I
do you
don't go
go
out
when you go
barefoot
in the
usually because
field?
I'll step on a pine cone.
Some areas you do grounding and stuff. Like so when before I walk in
Yeah, we do grounding.
any
Yes.
before I walk in any new place, this is something I don't tell everybody, but whatever. It's like what I do like as a cultural thing and like a respect factor. I take off my boots and everything, my socks, and I leave my footprint. I leave my footprint and my handprint.
Oh, that's smart.
Whether it be in whether it be in moss, snow, sand, I don't whatever, mud, I do it. Whatever's there. And I do it before I enter and kind of like, culturally say, hey, I'm here for, like I respect you and I respect your home and they're barefoot, you know what I mean? So I put my
Yeah.
stuff back on,
And
but some places I'll walk around barefoot.
and right after you leave, they go get the casting substances and they cast a print of your foot. The Bigfoots are out there like, "Hey, we got a human print, you guys," and they get the casting material out and they make a cast and they put it on their
Yeah,
wall in a cabinet.
yeah.
Yeah.
One day there's
And they're
gonna be
like,
like a bunch
"This
of
is Long Island Bigfoot's foot,
there's
y'all.
gonna be a
This is
bunch of
small foot.
Sasquatch screaming my name like with markers, like sign my cast.
Sign my cat." Oh my gosh. No, I mean, I've never gone a Bigfooting barefoot though, Smooth Criminal. I usually wear my boots because where we go, there's a lot of quartz and a lot of quartz veins, like
Oh,
veins of the quartz rock and stuff, and it would tear my feet up. Okay.
that's you open.
Not to mention all the copperheads and rattlesnakes. I mean, I'm down here in the South, y'all. Okay, we have a lot of snakes, and plus, if I have to run, I need to be able to run, and I don't want my feet
I
to get cut.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. I recommend it like when you're doing like creek walking and stuff like that. Like if you're
Yeah,
trying to ground
there's a
like through
time
that.
for it.
Yeah, right.
There's definitely a time for it, but
Yeah,
not out in the
or
middle of the
it's
night. See, like, I'm usually out in the middle of the night. You can't see where you're walking, much less where you're stepping. So I wear, like, thick boots, and I wear, like, my they go up to my knees, basically,
mhm.
yeah. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
quartz will
Man, it's
tear
cold
you
today. I
up.
wish I had some boots on right now. Yeah, of course will tear your feet up big time. But I do walk around barefoot. We do, go to the creeks and stuff, and I get in the water and everything. I mean, we're super I love going out in the woods and being in nature. And yes, we do go barefoot. My son does too, by the way. Now, Ruth has a question. Thank you for that super sticker again, Smooth Criminal. On Montauk, does anyone ever take a ham radio to scan the frequencies just to see if they can hear things, usually a beeping noise or something, sometimes a tapping sound? Do you know? That might be a question for Brian with Montauk is Strange.
He's been bringing out
What do you think?
spirit box lately. They've been doing different things. They have been bringing out different tools. He did get an EMF detector, I believe, because he liked mine. I don't think he has a lot of tools yet, but that's something to look into. I don't know if he's done that yet though. But I would check out Montauk is Strange. Check out his channel and all the stuff he's done.
Yeah,
it's definitely
absolutely. Heck yeah. He is. He's got all the technology too. And my teams, when we go out in the field, we all have ham radios. Everybody's certified. Most of us.
Oh, hand radios.
Ham, like a ham radio, like a Baofeng handheld. Yeah, you got to get a ham radio license to use it. You're supposed to. Okay, but they're good to have when you're out in the field. It covers a wider range, and you can get off the repeaters and stuff. Ham's a big deal when it comes to some of the research that my teams do. But yeah, we don't ever pick up on other frequencies usually through the ham radios, but we have other equipment that might. Okay. So very good question though. Absolutely. And hey, Marco has been my friend since I started my show at KGRA Digital Broadcasting, y'all. So thank you for being here, Marco. I just hit 5,400 subscribers, Mike, by the way. And I remember when Marco was cheering me on to get 100. Okay. So thank you. Yeah. To everybody who joined me on this journey, everybody. I love y'all. Okay. Okay, Mike, this has been another amazing fun time with you today. And I know your experiences have been pretty amazing. Okay. And they weren't fun. Okay. I mean, I would think that last one that you just told us about was pretty terrifying. I'd be scared.
Well, there was a lot more to it after the fact, and but yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for sharing that with us today. And what in the world? Mikey from the Strange Road podcast says that he would not pick a fight with Bigfoot Mike, and neither would I. I would try not to. I would try not to. Yeah. Barefoot. Oh my gosh. What is this? Jessica took her shoes off and started to investigate something called barefoot. She might start following her own. I have big feet, y'all. Is that a Bigfoot joke? Oh my gosh. I love y'all. Y'all are hilarious. Yeah. Okay. So I think I was actually kind of getting back. Okay. I know what we're going to go here in a minute because I got to go pick up my son from school today. And, but I was kind of making the connection earlier to that psychiatric hospital and the correlation to like all the different types of paranormal activity and the cryptid activity that's going on out there. Is that what you're finding with all these different spots that you go to out in the field? Is there a lot of just paranormal supernatural activity going on out there too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, this is a hotbed for it all. Like there's been, reports of everything up till now. It's just like, I'm trying to like bring it out, but, yeah, there's a big paranormal team here on Long Island, and they go all over this place, and there's no shortage of it. Between Amityville being over here, and like there's all sorts of cemeteries too, and there's so much history. And then even Lake Ronkonkoma with the Indian princes, like between the 13 original tribes that were here, and all the other stuff that's going on. Yeah, between places, people, and things, forget about it.
Yeah. Oh my God, did you say Amityville, like from the movie Amityville, where the man...
You drove right past it on your way out to Montauk.
Did we?
Just didn't know it. Yeah. Well, yeah, probably. You just didn't know it. I mean,
oh no. Yeah.
It's out in the next county over, but it's not far from me. It's like a half-hour drive.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I had no idea. All those houses look like they could all be Amityville houses. Okay. So you just never know. You never know.
If you try to find it, if you don't know what it looks like, because they keep changing it and then like changing little things here and there. And if you look it up on Google Maps, like like Google the address and then you'll get a bunch of different addresses, but type any of them in and you'll on Google Maps and you'll get a blur. Like they blurred out the whole street. So.
That's Oh my god, that's so becoming more common now on Google Maps, okay, with, areas of high strangeness. It's all blurred out or it's like it's not there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smooth Criminal, thank you. I got another super sticker. Yes, it's better to connect with the land. That's right. Okay, if it's not too cold, the next time I go out, I'm gonna get barefoot. Okay, barefooted, I guess you say.
Bare feet.
Out barefeeted. Barefeeted. I know. I know you're thinking of something to say with my tater logs. My tater logs and
bangers.
my bare feet.
I was gonna try to think. My brain was trying
I
to
knew
put
it. I
something
can hear
together.
you. I can hear you. I have telepathy. I know what you're about to say. I also want to say hello to UK, the Dogman UK. He's from the UK too, you guys. So y'all check out his channel. He's got a great channel. He's got Dogmen basically in his backyard. Okay, so you guys go check him out if you want to delve into the Dogman phenomenon some more. Okay, and hey, Brown Dwarf, I see you in there. Yeah, we have a lot of really great people in the chat today, and it's been a great show. And Mike, I know that you will come back. I hope you'll come back and hang out with me again soon in the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anytime.
Okay, awesome. Because we got more researching to do. You're I joke around about the hooves on the ground. I don't. Where did that even come from? I have no idea.
The Goatman show. The Goatman show.
What?
I think
The Goatman? Oh yeah,
he did a
that's right. I
Goatman
did
show, and I kept saying hooves on the something like that. I can't remember.
hooves on the ground.
Yeah, right. Something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, we let you guys in on our inside jokes. Okay, they're not so inside. It's between me and Mike and all you guys. Okay, we'll let you know what we're laughing at. So, hooves on the ground. Yeah. So, okay, all right. Well, Mike, where can everybody find you? Tell the audience about your channel.
It's called the Cryptid Huntress, and
that's my channel.
You can find my Etsy shop. It's called War Woman Goods.
Oh my god!
No, you can find it. All right, whatever.
You're so silly.
I don't like to promote myself. I hate it. I hate
okay, I'll do it then. Okay, everybody, please go subscribe to Long Island Bigfoot. I even have it pulled up on the screen. It's called Long Island Bigfoot, and it's on YouTube, and also all over social media. Okay, so Long Island Bigfoot, LIB. Okay, okay. Before we go, Angel wanted to know what is the name of that psychiatric hospital that you go to?
Kings Park, and then Pilgrim is another one that I do, but it's still open, so I can't really post much about that because it's still active. But the one that one that I'm talking about is called Kings Park Psychiatric Center.
Okay. Good to know. Okay. And we have one last question before we go. What's the difference between a Dogman and a skinwalker? That's from Jane. Would you like to answer that? What do you think, Mike?
I have no idea. I don't think a Dogman can take on the shapes of other things. If a skinwalker is similar to like a shapeshifter, right? Like
yes.
They could probably look like a Dogman, like type wolf thing, or even other stuff, right? But I'm no expert. I really don't know.
Yeah, a skinwalker would be something that, and we're not supposed to be saying the S word, but I'm saying it. Okay,
I know,
but yeah, right. But the S word is it's actually something. It's like a human that's transformed, or it could be a human, or I think it's usually a human that transforms into either an animal or something else that has supernatural abilities, and they have to do something really dark and ugly to get to that point. Okay, and I think a Dogman is just natural. Actually, most Dogmen are natural, unless they're lab made down in a underground facility. So I don't know. There's all sorts of debates on all that. Okay, but yeah, skinwalkers are Native American shamans. Thank you, John. Yes. Okay, so I hope that we answered everybody's questions today, and I want to thank everybody so much for being here. If you guys missed the show last night with Cryptidville, Mark Maychak, y'all go check that out. That was part of 5 nights of Dogman with Vic Hundiff's Dogman Encounters. Long Island Bigfoot has a show there as well. He participated in that as well, so you guys go check out that.
It was
And
called Dogman on Your Hands, and you got a Dogman on Your Hands and Cryptid Playground. And then I
yes.
think you're
Yeah, absolutely. So y'all go check that out too. Okay. Check out Mike's channel. Everybody go subscribe if you haven't already. That's Long Island Bigfoot. And all right, y'all. Well, please come back and join me again tomorrow night. I'll be back here at 8 p.m. with a remote viewing show, and I will be announcing what that topic is tonight. Okay. And also, y'all come see me at Space Out Radio this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Well, definitely Sunday, maybe not Saturday, but I'll be there this weekend. Definitely Sunday night, 10 p.m. And that's on Space Out Radio. All right, Mike. Awesome. Have a great day. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go get me some tater logs and chicken fingers now.
all right.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
All right, y'all. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night. Bye, Mike. See y'all.
Use